How is this going to? I usually write something in Blue Sky when I go live, but what am I supposed to have on the screen until then? Here, take a VS Code thingy. Because my Blue Sky feed might be anime girls. Okay, that should be that. Then we click that, that. So, I have never done something like this before, but all the cool streamers do, and I am aiming for the stars or something. We go like I watched the like presentation and all that, but I haven't like read the actual things. Let's do that. Bit lower music. Okay. So what I'm thinking is that I can go through these things, and basically jot down what I think is cool, and then we'll think about some builds at the end. I guess we can have this client open. Just so we can like look at characters and all that. It has to do some stuff. Okay. We're of course getting Act 4, which is all new. And that's going to be nice since Cruel is getting removed as well. And we get these interlude acts. So we can get up to level 65. At some point in my life, I hope level 65 won't be the level we enter maps. I would much rather have level 40 or something. I think that would be a better level for the end game to start. We have more levels in the end game. 65 is so low. We also get Abyss League, which seems to be more or less the same as the PoE 1 variant. Basically, you run over a thing, it goes through the ground, monsters appear, and you can see. And I guess there's another like level where these rare seems to be have different mechanics or whatnot. In the PoE 1 it was basically just normal rares, but only I think there's 3 monsters, right? It's the Carrion Golem, the Bat, and the guy that goes away and shoots, like the mortar guy. You kind of get bored of those pretty quickly, so I hope this will the actual fights with Abyss will be nicer. I don't necessarily think that Abyss is the correct thing to add to Path of Exile 2, because it pushes the end game towards more like Path of Exile 1, which I really don't like. Because you know, like this will only be multiplied. Just like in Path of Exile 1, this will be multiplying Delirium and all the other things that already exist in the end game. Guess this will have no sound too, but that's fine. I want to. I guess I could. Fuck it. Matter. This is the best thing. Stockholm realm. Here's my Spectre character, which is not at all a Spectre character. But yeah, I do think that Abyss will be another multiplier, and everything will be stupid when we get to the end game. Sure. Yeah. Let's disable sound in background there. It's also, yeah, further effect. Cool. So now at least have the client up, in case we need to test something. Yeah, so I'm not good at finishing my thought here. Like, this will most likely work just like in PathXL1 with Abyss. Like, it multiplies Delirium, it multiplies your Atlas, and you will most likely also farm rares and all that. Like, there's probably a lot of rares, but there's also bosses from this. And there was the new crafting thing where they added what's basically veiled modifiers from PathXL1, but to Abyss. I guess new for this is that we actually have a league. The Wisp thing just went core instantly last league, so, or it wasn't a league, last expansion, I guess, last patch. But this time we have the first league, which is Abyss. I'm kind of sad it wasn't something more. Because, like, Abyss has been around for a long time now. Like, when did Abyss League? When did that happen? It was like, it was 8 years ago. Which is, like, that's a long time, right? And to see it being ported over with not too many differences, I felt a bit disappointed, perhaps. But hey, maybe it's fantastic. We'll see. This is the more interesting part, where we will have loads of balance changes, but we won't have a new class or weapon. So it's basically what we already have, right? So it's this, but the tree is way more, like, there's way more nodes in the tree. It almost looked a bit too much when they showed off. PoB won't have this because they haven't released the JSON file with the tree yet, and won't do that before the patch is live, which is a bit of a shame. But they are also redoing the support game system. The big one is this, right? Previously, you could only have one support gem of each type, but that requirement is just gone, which is nice because in theory, like, this is a cold character, as you know, a cold infernalist. That makes sense, right? Which basically has, I mean, I would probably use the same things on most of these skills, because they're all cold, right? And you want to use stuff like where is it? Like cold exposure would be nice to have multiple things to be the cold mastery. And we don't know exactly which of these that will be available. There's new tiers of support gems, and yeah, so let's go one by one, I guess. Many support now has multiple tiers as you progress through the game. I am not 100% sure of this, because one of my for example, I think they showed like if we just pick one of these guys. I think what they did was they showed like brutality. It was like brutality 1, brutality 2, and sometimes, and perhaps a level 3rd tier, I don't know. And these generally meant that brutality 1 was for lower level characters and brutality 2 was for high level characters. I'm not sure if I like that compared to just leveling gems like we had in Path Exile 1. I guess it might work, because I would imagine the like we have now, these tiers barely matter. Like it's actually incorrect the way I have it. But yeah, here's a better example. I've mapped a bit more on this remove only tab, and you basically end up with only level 3 ones, because level 3 can become all 3, but level 2 can only become 2. So essentially in the end game you toss out all the level 2 ones because they are completely useless, right? There's no reason for them to exist because level 3 gems exist, as opposed to the normal skill gems, which become like the actual level. So this is a level 17 gem. Like it, and support gems didn't have have levels, so that didn't work. So perhaps it will make that a bit more like coherent between the two types. My issue with this is mostly this list. Like, this is a fuck ton of things for a game that is not even out and doesn't have all classes and doesn't have all weapons. And surely, I think they're going to cull this list a bit. Hey, Sandra, we're doing patch notes reading. I'm trying that one out. So they're going to cull this a bit, I assume. But my worry is that this list will be like twice as long next patch. And this is like a cursed problem when it comes to gaming, right? It's way too long, like this list. But when you play, there aren't enough support gems anyway. We'll see. I have my worries about this change. But we get 11 more. And that's important. Yeah, I mean, it's perfect, right? There's tons of choices, but you can present, it's just how you present them. Because I think the idea they have is that this list should be way better, where you click on Frostbolt and you get like, here are the gems, that support gems that you are very likely to be using. And like this amount of choices is not, even if there's 2 more lines there, which I think there would be, it's not like too much, right? You know how the skill works, you kind of know what you want with it. The problem becomes when you go into when you remove the show recommended, because then it starts doing weird things. Like Frostbolt here deals cold damage, but it shows brutality here, which makes elemental damage deal no damage. So if I pick brutality, I effectively make this skill deal 0 damage. But since this is Path Exile, it kind of has to exist, because I might have other things on this Frostbolt that might benefit from brutality. It's very unlikely that Frostbolt will be this case, but like if I make this deal physical damage and start bleeding and whatnot, then brutality becomes really good. So like it's one of those really. I think that any player, like a new player that clicks away this recommended gems thing, are completely lost, right? Like why is bleed chance on a cold skill? Why does Frostbolt have pierce when this... Okay, that's just stupid, right? Because Frostbolt... Okay, this is just has to be a bug, right? Because there's no reason to. Frostbolt already pierces all targets, so why can you support it with pierce? And that also shows another issue with this list, right? Because it's probably generated in some way, and if that generation doesn't work, we get these like supporting peers here with this. The only thing it does is make it deal less damage after it has pierced. Yeah, it depends, right? I generally treat Path Exile as a build like sandbox. Like I make a lot of characters, I play them and see how far I can take them. Like there's a bunch of characters here, and some of these don't get very far. Like this 53 Blood Mage. I think it was my first character in the beta. So like there is some like I just like trying characters, and for that it's fine, right? It's more difficult if you want to like do the other part of Path Exile, which is experienced endgame and all that. And at that point, you kind of need to start reading guides. Anyways, let's move on. There's this new concept of lineage supports. These are supposedly unique support gems. Probably similar to how Awaken gems, some of them worked in Path Exile 1. But it looks like they are... I do have a example of one. Oh yeah, here's the tier system I looked at earlier. Yeah, so this one, for example, supporter spells, it goes 2 times. So you will get 3 casts per cast, basically. It's with supporter skills, treat enemy monster elemental resistance values as inverted. Okay, that's actually stupid strong. Ralph's Assault. Forced crossbow and ammunition skills, causing them to load multiple extra bolts. Supporter skills cannot reload normally, instead reload bows when you dodge. Okay, like this thing properly changed how crossbow is played. And what I don't like about this is that these are drop only from specific stuff. So if you want to play a build, it might be very difficult to actually do that. The good part is that these are unique, so you can only have one of these. So it's not like you will use Rafa's Assault on 6 skills or whatever. So it might... we have to see how this pans out, of course, but depending on what... I mean, this looks fucking boring, like the double echo thing. Like that's just like spell echo with awaken spell echo, more or less. This one is super strong, meaning that you will never have it. We'll see like how this pans out, but I have my worries that these are too difficult to obtain, and even then we don't know. Like if you want a specific one, you must know it exists basically by reading guides and targeting where it drops. And you know that there will be a super strong bond that's only from pinnacle bosses with like 0.04% drop rate or whatever. And I mean, I don't know, like that's just path exile. A number of support games with simple effects has been renamed with names that more obviously hint at their functionality. I think that's a good thing, depending on how obvious they are. Because I think they might return the like the, for example, Scattershot was I think this was named less than multiple projectiles or multiple projectiles, whatever, in the release patch, but we might get it back because they did add a bunch, like in 0.2 they did rename a bunch of these into other things. That was, and I think they might revert that. I think encumbrance was called something else, for example. I can't remember the names. I think ingenuity. I can English. I think this was just called second wind from the Path Exile 1. So, yeah. But we'll see. That's just a cosmetic change, right? Blood in the eyes is combinate. What are these gems? Blood in the eyes. Hobble equal to 15% of physical hit damage dealt by supported. Hobbling reduces evasion. Okay. You can remove evasion by hitting them, which you can't because they have evasion. Okay. So we can't get that. This combulates. This combulate instead. Okay. I don't have that. Oh, there might be these guys, right? Nope. I have no fucking clue what the gems those are. Like they have so like I can't remember them. Updated wording for support camps, which add a cooldown to support kills. Okay, so cosmetic change. Updated description for last grasp. Support mention and minion dies before the support duration expires. If the last grasp support to mention that support minions die before the support's duration expires if they take damage exceeding their maximum life while fatally wounded. Okay, so just explaining stuff, I guess. Oh, there we go. I forgot to flip. I have no clue what that is. Like, I can't even find the fucking support. The support camps which support skills you can use yourself can no longer support persistent skills. You can still support games that have both a persistent component and manual activated components, such as Plague Bearer. I mean, kind of makes sense, right? I don't know if this targets a specific thing, but oh yeah, it could target like heralds. You have stuff Arctic armor, for example. No, I just have persistent stuff. Okay. In addition, fixed a bug where numerous supports which support skills you use yourself could support skills used by totems or triggered skills. Yes, bug. Fix. Clarify the wording of master support. Refer specifically to the number of different reviving minions you have. Cosmetic change. Having a skill with support camps you do not meet the attribute requirements for. Now disables just those supports instead of disabling the entire skill. That's pretty nice, because I think this targets stuff like if you had a weapon swap and you lose out on stats. Let's see, like if I went down too far in strength from weapon swapping, that would disable the entire skill, and now that only disables a support. I don't know which support, because this number basically comes from like how much attributes I have. So like if I don't know which one they do disable, because there could be multiple skills that could be disabled to satisfy that requirement. But it might be like the top one or something, so you can probably fix this. Fusion support has been renamed, whatever. New strength gem, Fortifying Cry. Perform a war cry that grants a guard and causes subsequent shield attacks to release an empowered shockwave damage. This skill's cooldown can be bypassed by expanding an endurance charge. Okay, so shout and hit with shield. We don't have any numbers here, so but since shockwaves is generally just extra damage, as far as I know. So we'll see like how much this does. I don't know if shield skills are even good. Like I've never played the like. I'm a caster player. I don't go here. Okay. Add a strength skill gem, Forge Hammer. Hurl a fiery hammer that slams into the ground and lodges there. While the hammer is lodged in the ground, reusing the skills recalls the hammer and resets the skill's cooldown. Alternatively, using a war cry near the lodged hammer causes it to shatter, releasing a number of molten fissures in a spiral. I think they show this at multiple occasions. Maybe it's even because it looked like pretty cool, right? This one, not that guy. But like the spiral fire effect, that's the hammer. This one. So yeah, I mean, scream at the hammer and it will be fire. I think there was also some thing that you could do to make this like go completely ham. So I mean, this is more stuff for the bottom left side of the tree, I guess. And they needed more options, I guess. Add a new strength skill gem, Ancestral Cry. Perform a war cry using glory gained by igniting enemies you turn. By igniting enemies to you to turn you into an embodiment of calm. Why am I so bad at English? Perform a war cry using glory gained by igniting enemies to turn you into an embodiment of calm. Okay, so we probably stack this by igniting enemies, I guess, the glory. While embodying calm, your footsteps trigger volcanic steps, melee strikes, and slams are successfully boosted, and your melee attack is trigger volcanic eruption. I think this was triggering the Forge Hammer. It's just that I think the issue is that I'm reading this, like when I read things out loud, I am literally reading the thing I'm saying, and getting the intonation correct is difficult, right? because it's like perform a war cry using glory gained by igniting enemies. 2, turn you into the embodiment of chaos. Like that is, and I like completely fucked it up. Reading reading out things loud that you're reading, like reading things out aloud is a skill that I do not exactly possess, but we'll try. Always learning. Okay, a new dexterity skill gem, Toxic Domain. Create an area of toxic bloom on the ground around you. While in the bloom, you have increased skill cost, regenerate life, and your projectile attacks attach a toxic pustule. The fuck? These words. Yeah, exactly. Like it's I don't read ahead of time, and I think that's probably what you do when you like get good at this, because like people do this as a living, right? Recite things that they like. I would imagine when you're reading out news, for example. I don't know. Do I? When did I last read something in Swedish? I mean, since I'm more familiar with Swedish, I will probably guess how the sentence should be structured and told in a better way than I will in English. It also doesn't help, of course, when you're reading out game patch notes. You have these like nonsense stuff. Like using glory is not something that the English language is supposed to say, right? You perform a war cry using glory gained by igniting enemies. So like you have these like terms in the middle that like it's basically like saying names, right? So that makes it a bit more difficult. Okay, wait. While in the bloom, you have increased skill cost, regenerate life, and your projectile attacks attach a toxic pustule, which can be poisoned. Pustules will detonate after duration, or when enough poison has been applied, dealing damage and applying poison around it. Yeah, for sure. Like it's practice, like everything, right? So, and it's kind of experimental, this stream, like reading out patch notes on this stream. I've never done that before, so we're experimenting. Thank you. Like I have spoken enough English at this point that I kind of feel like it feels somewhat second nature. It's of course a vocabulary and all that. That's, I mean, you know how it is, right? When it's your second language, you pick up things from like TV shows, what other streamers say, and all that. So like you don't really have this natural flow like like an English person would have. But you can only practice and become maybe 80% as good as them, and that's what I'm targeting. So what does this sound like? This sounds like a really cool spell to you, or like a. I guess this is a what the League community would call a steroid, right? You like put something down and you do the like way more poison damage for this. But you of course probably can't leave this area, or you can leave it and then return it. I don't know if I'm better at writing or talking at this point. I write a lot more. That's for damn sure. And I mean, it's also one of the reasons I do stream. I want to practice just like naturally speaking English, because I do like a lot of ing and stopping and like getting just talking. I think it works like makes me practice, right? Just doing the thing. So like when I stream for a lot, many days in a row, I do actually notice that I become slightly better at it. To the point where like when I do like internal monologues and whatnot, sometimes that's in English. Yeah, like it's odd, right? If you practice, you become better at things. Okay. But yeah, this looks like a is this like anywhere? No, it's just projectile. Okay. Okay, so it's projectile attacks, which I guess is just bows for now, and whatever the PCR poisonous concoction. This is a projectile as well. Yeah, when it comes to like speaking English, the one thing I still need to do is I need to stop myself all the time when I notice myself pronouncing the J in a Swedish way, because like it's stupid, right? Can I find a very simple example? Conjure. In Swedish, this J is pronounced conjures. Projectile. Projectile. The projectile is we have many ways of saying the Swedish J. It's one of our sounds, so projectile in Swedish. It's literally spelled the same. Yeah, but let's see. Yeah, you know the guy Jay Leno. This is oh yeah, no, even better one. The name James in Swedish. You will run into people pronouncing this as James, like James, because I have to catch myself all the time, not like pronouncing the J in a proper way. Yef. Yeah, so like this is one thing that I'm struggling with, and so whenever you hear me like trip up on a word that starts with a J, that's why. Name Jeff. Whatever. It was so long ago since I last saw it. Yeah, I mean this looks like poison bow have a new skill. Cool. This one looked pretty cool, I think. Ice-tipped arrows. Rather your active bow or spear, empowering your next barrageable, that's a word, bow or projectile spear attacks to create ice fragments on hit. Okay, so ice fragments is a new keyword, so we probably need to look at what that is later. But yeah, like it's basically barrage, but creates ice fragments. I think they could be exploded or something, but yeah. New intelligence skill gem, Frost Darts. Conjures a number of icy projectiles that launch towards the target. Projectiles that hit a chilled or frozen target create chunks of ice that deal additional damage on impacting the ground. Consumes a cold infusion, if possible, to cause each projectile to lodge into the enemy and then explode. I think this is a weird one. It has so many like levels of it. First of all, this is a new skill. I don't know what conjures a number of icy projectiles means in this case. Like, is this like where is it? Bone whatever. Bone Storm. I tried to click the move. I am big shit. Like, because it's, I don't think it's channeling, right? It could be something like this. But yeah, it's because that's also like channel to conjure a swarm of bones. But yeah, this might not be a channel. So we have to like see how it plays just by like from the very get-go. How does this play? But then there's also this like combo ability where we have hitting a chilled or frozen target. Chilling a target is super simple, right? Because you basically do this, and well, now you're chilled. So that's super simple to do. Meaning that this is probably something that you have to do. But it could be something cool, because we can also consume the cold infusion. And have we talked about infusion? Or is this the first mention of it? Because I think this is down to like we have to like figure this out. But let's put this in cool things. Frost darts, easy to keep target chilled. Will this feel cool to use? Unintended pun. But yeah, we have to like see. We need to read the cold infusion stuff and how we can get that, because this is probably a secondary source of damage. But like, this seems to be easily specializable because it's a hit thing into a hit thing, both dealing cold damage, which also works with a ailment from cold damage. So like, this should be on paper pretty nice to play, like to like build for. But I don't know if it's nice to play, of course. Okay, let's move on. Strength persistence buff gem. Iron Ward, while active, stores a percentage of the physical damage that is prevented by your armor. This is 0. Or other sources of damage. Oh, other source of damage reduction. Because that's fist damage reduction. Using his skills releases the store damage as a nova of spikes. I don't know. I feel like you can't get hit in this game. Maybe. I mean, you can make everything good in Path Exile, so like you can do stuff, but like this is a persistent buff as well. So we will use up some of our very limited spirit to do this. Like if it's a 20 spirit thing, maybe. It's a Nova. Which, I mean, this needs to deal like some big dick damage to be worthwhile. I mean, because this is this stores a percentage, and it's probably up to a limit, right? Because you can't just store 1 million damage and then release that in one hit, because that's a way too strong of a hit to actually be in Path Exile. Like, you literally just make that ignite and there you go, or bleed. Yeah, like if you make that bleed, it's just will one-shot everything. So I can't see this being like super good, because I don't think ever in PathFake's history seen a skill that requires you to take damage be good? Like there's Molten Shell that had some builds with Vol Molten Shell, but nah. Those were kind of memey. In PathFake's I wanted this. Add a new strength, dexterity, persistent buff gem, Mortar Cannon. This one's pretty interesting. Raises a cannon totem which uses a socked grenade skill. Because my issue with grenade skills is purely that they bounce off monsters. And they feels awful to use. But if I don't have to use them, they might be nice. You can also use this as a igniter of sorts, because I guess I can. I don't. What are the grenade skills again? Yeah, I have like gas grenades, so you can like be pumping those out. Let's just say persistent buff. Significantly improved cooldown recovery. So like 3 seconds, 5 seconds, 5 seconds, 5 seconds. I mean, cluster is 10 seconds. Welcome back. So maybe, I mean, this, the attack speed probably doesn't matter. Okay, something's bothering. What is it? Is it me? I don't know. I don't know why my Discord doesn't flash anymore. Like, I have a laptop as well, and I have like the same notification settings, but my Discord never flashes anymore. I think it's like down to, what is it? Like, you can like set it to not give Windows notifications or something. I don't know. It could be Discord being Discord, right? You know, and think that them creating some new garbage in the shop to spend money on, like, warrants a notification. Because it was something new I saw. And yeah. I remember Discord 10 years ago, almost, when it was just a chat client. I can't wait for the point where people go, fuck this, and go on to the next one. Because that will happen within a few years, I would imagine. Okay, so yeah, I think that this mortar cannon is cool. I like ballistas. Smile. Might be a YouTube situation. Yeah, I mean, they have become rather big, right? Discord. So YouTube is a bit more difficult though, because they have such a market lead now that they can spend time and money making like hardware that's basically done like ASICs or whatever they're called, like to decode and encode video, and you can never compete with that, right? So they might YouTube need to crash pretty hard before we get a competitor, unfortunately. Yeah, but I mean, what there is like, sure, monopolies are bad, of course. I don't like them myself, but you you can't force people to start videos. It's I think like whenever the like it's so weird whenever like the what's it called? I guess it's government when they like intercept for monopolies because it just feels so like random whenever they do. It's like Embracer buying up every fucking studio ever. Oh, no problem. Uh, Microsoft buying out Activision Blizzard. Oh, hold up. It's probably not random, yeah. It just appears to be random from the outside because I don't know the inner workings of it. Okay, we haven't get the Mirage Archer from Path 1, but uh, you create it by dodge rolling. Oh, dodge rolling while you are unable to create a new Mirage will restart this timer. So this essentially this has two implications. It makes you not want to dodge roll when you can avoid it because you want to like of course stack these Mirage Archers as much as possible. But it also means that you will look down here all the time for the fucking cooldown. Because like rolling just before it's back up means that it's basically restarts, and yeah, that's awful. I don't know about that. Yeah, I mean, I guess I could read much more into it, but it feels like it's happening so far above me. Like, for example, with the Activision Blizzard thing. I think the UK had something against it for a bit. And it was like the fact that they, Microsoft, what was it? That they could keep Call of Duty on Microsoft machines only or something. That was the like the thing that they didn't like. At least that was what they said. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you can always read into it. It's just it feels like sometimes they just grab onto something to remind people that it exists when you don't follow it really. Because there've been so many like studio buyouts and game studio buyouts in the last years, and I guess no one is as big as Activision Blizzard. Yeah, so Mirage Charger. I think if you can either get it so that this, like you can, I mean, this probably is a feelings thing. If you can feel it out this cooldown, I think this would be pretty fun to play. If this cooldown is like 7 seconds, won't be nice to play. I mean, I is Figma. Are those doing the like shared whiteboards basically? Like I think we have had a Figma. Yeah, Figma balls. I died of Figma. I think we had used it once in the past. No matter what it is, like it could be illegal for all I care. Adobe not being able to buy something is a good thing because they are fucking awful. Okay, new intelligence buff game. Ravenous swarm. While active and enemies are nearby, swarms of insects emerge from your body to pursue enemies. The swarms are untargetable minions that periodically attack and poison enemies within the swarm. Release the bees. Yeah, I mean, they are. I don't know of a good large company. I mean, this is this is a persistent buff gem. Like, why can this ever be good enough? Like it, because this will either be very strong or never used. Because like you, again, we're using spirit here, which is very valuable, and probably still will be. This is an automatic gem, meaning that it will be weaker by default, so it's probably harder to scale. I think that's a. I mean, I'm just guessing here, but I think that's a decent guess. These are minions, so I guess I mean we'll see. Like maybe something poison hits stuff with poison on them. I don't think this would be any cool. Valve is a weird one, right? Because I don't understand Valve at all. Because like Valve is somehow like the purest form of greed. Like they literally earn 30-ish% of the PC gaming market. And they are still greedy. I don't understand. And yeah, like that's even weirder that they are a private company because they don't have shareholders that they need to bring profit to by law, like others can point to in America. America is weird, but yeah, it's they literally can do whatever they want, but they always go for numbers goes up decisions, which is like it has to be like ultra greedy, right? Because I mean, this is going to be a bit hyperbolic, but they could literally disable Counter-Strike skin gambling tomorrow, right? They could literally make or like the RMT everything from Counter-Strike skins. They could make that go away tomorrow by making every item untradeable. But they know that they earn more money by not doing it. So they keep doing it. Yeah, like I mean, it's just like a concept, like a perspective from someone that's not a billionaire or a multimillionaire. I don't know what game is. Like I can't fathom the feeling of having enough money to live for 100 years, 100 lifetimes, and still go, I need more. Yeah, it's probably billionaire. It's hard because they're Valve is not selling, so it's probably harder to like estimate its worth and all that. But yeah, I just can't fathom that thing. But it has to be number goes up things, right? Because it's like it's the entire company at this point. because it's not Gabe that makes all the decisions. Yeah, like the pet project is fine. Like I do like that they do things like they tried the Steam machines, they did some VR, they did some like other things like the controller, Steam Link, Steam Deck. Like because all of those like products was pretty cool, like cool and say things not related. Yeah. Oh, I mean like his knife collection, I guess. I don't know what his personal project would be. Do you have an example? It's hard to say what is Valve and what is Gabe, you know. Oh yeah, those kinds of things. Hmm. Yeah, I like when it comes to reading about chip and brain, I kind of just gloss it over and say, maybe not. Don't read too much into it, so I haven't. Yeah, I mean, I got it. I filled in the blanks. Gabe has been funding development of the technology. Yeah, well, it was easy enough to fill in the gaps. Yeah, I just like I don't see the point of chip and brain, but I also don't see the point of having a smartwatch. So maybe I'm not the target audience. This one would be this intelligence gem. I think this would be freeze shock or oh, it's not chill. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that would be super nice if everyone in the world all was nice about it, right? Like I wouldn't mind a chip in my brain that could like check my health, like all of those things, be able to track me in case I get lost somewhere, and like all those things are like super good, but they don't. I don't trust the makers of it. Like we already have a like phone, and like that is already a bit too much for me sometimes. Just giving away basically your entire privacy. But it's like too comfortable. So it like you like I don't know how it is outside of Sweden, but you basically can't live in Sweden without a smartphone nowadays because a lot of stuff is just done like identification online is always done through a phone app nowadays. It's like when you put it into perspective, like how fast people just jumped on smartphones, it's really odd. Yeah, because it's like literally 15 years ago now when they first won, right? And I think that, yeah, I mean, because a lot of like the non-tech friends and family that you have don't understand the point, and they just like download application, say yes to everything, create account, link with Facebook, link with like all those things. No, I'm not doing that. And again, like if I knew that my data was being used for for me, that would be fine. But the thing is that everything is free, right? And nothing in the world is actually free. You are paying for it in some way. Like, for just an example, I'm streaming for free in quotation marks. No, I'm streaming to make Twitch a attractive platform for ad revenue for them. I'm creating content for the like yeah, for the users, which are the product. So like nothing is ever free, right? And something happened with the smartphones that the idea of like phone apps not being free just like it's so rare to just run into a paywall nowadays. Fine, everything's just free, which is good in some ways but bad in others. I mean, I remember like it's been like 20 years ago now, 15, like before YouTube really took off, being like forced to pay to like watch high quality video was a norm. But now we get 4K video for free. The big companies love Linux though. It's free. They don't have to give Microsoft money. All right, let's get the next. Did I talk about this? The siphon elements. This could be cool. Shocking is the easiest thing to do. We get a infusion remnant. I don't know if the infusion has a element tied to it. Because yeah, cold infusion. So for us to like work with frost darts, I think this needs to be freezing. Yeah, I mean it would be nice, but I don't see that happening with the EU. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say. Like the Utopia, everyone has a different one, right? So, like, should the software be a, because that's basically what it boils down to. Like, should software be a human right? Maybe. The internet should be and all that, but we're far from that. This could be cool. Green Feast is completely reworked and re-enabled. Instead of granting any shield, it now allows you to collect remnants from your dead reviving minions, then activate the skills to instantly revive minions based on their maximum life. Cool. Because waiting for minions to revive is boring. Yeah, I mean, you could make an argument that if it should be used within government, it should be developed by the government. But that also takes time and money compared to just buying a solution. Add a new keystone passive to the northwest of the monk. Hollow palm technique. Quarterstaff attacks while unarmed. This will never be good. This is really good for leveling, but this will never be a endgame build. Because a very common thing in Path of Exile is that something that allows you to not use items will never be better than something that allows you to use items. Yeah, I would probably agree with the whole being tied up to both companies and other states. Added a keystone passive northeast, of which ritual cadence. This keystone changes your invocations to trigger skills every 2 seconds instead of all at once, but trigger skills consume less energy. I don't know what state the trigger stuff is in, but I think this could be something that people figure out a cool thing with, because you could like, I think auto bombers is what they are targeting with this. That you can have like this rotation of skills happening instead of you critting and then 65 comments hit the target. Yeah, the dictatorship part is not good, right? So it's a bit fucked. It's fucked everywhere nowadays. And then a new keystone passive, northwest of the witch starting. Should be hereabouts. Black Flame Covenant. This keystone converts fire damage to chaos damage, with this damage contributing to ignite chance and magnitude. And ignites inflicted fire skills dealing chaos damage. Is this good? Probably not, since Ignite sucks. We don't. They will redo Ignite this patch, so we don't know if it will suck. But Ignite just feels ultra bad compared to Path Exile 1. So I don't think like. I think they could like double the damage of Ignite, and I will still hate it. Because like all the things that made Ignite good is not present in or like not good, but like nice to play is not present in Path Exile 2. Like you don't have the instant ignites and you don't have the instant ignite spreads, the proliferation. That's a word. Because those things make ignites feel so good in Path Exile 1, but in Path Exile 2, so you first need to do like multiple hits to even ignite stuff. And when the proliferation is like, you have to wait 2 seconds for things to start getting things in the nearby area to start igniting. It's just like at that point a good build is out of there. Like it's just too slow. So unless those are fixed, I can't see that like the ignite being good. What this could do is that it would allow chaos skills to ignite. Is that a good thing? Probably not. But maybe. It gives more. Like, you could probably. Maybe something like Dark Effigy thing, but I think this is just too weak for Ignite to be good. If Hex Blast was good, maybe. These don't really do anything. Like, I can't see this keystone being good right now, because it supports something bad. Add a new keystone passive east of the monk starting location. So it should be here. Ish. Walker of the Winds. This keystone causes mana leech to recover based on elemental damage types instead of physical damage. this is a welcome change, because it's one thing that's really difficult. This song is a bit too much for. Because compared to PathXL1, all the leech stuff is just increases. Like there's no flat leech on the entire tree, as far as I know. Maybe there's like some in somewhere, but like in this area there definitely isn't. I mean that you need some sort of leech on your weapon or something, or ring, I guess, or gloves, and when you're up here, you're barely dealing physical damage, so it's very hard to get the leech at all. So I think this could like actually be used. I think like depending on where the location is, like it's like if it's here, I can see it being used, because you like move around there. It's pretty well placed for the ranger, for the monk. So I think like if it's here, I think it's pretty decent. And I mean, this is like a either or. If you're dealing physical damage, you don't take the. If you deal the mental damage with attacks, you take this. So it's not a exciting one, but it could fix stuff for a build. Currency orbs. I hate all of these. Let's move on. I hate the Hinogor's lock. Let's move on. Unique items. We don't know what these are. New base item types and new maps. I hate omens. Let's move on. End game changes. It's not too many. Like with the skill stuff, there's not too many things. Like this is what my biggest issue with this patch is, that there doesn't seem to be much skill in terms of skills. Like sure, there's these two that I kind of want to do, but other than that, I don't know. Pinnacle bosses, I won't do those. Blah blah. Splinters, I hate that. Results. Sure. Simulacrum's breach of blood. Arbiter of Ass. It's no that difficulty. Yeah, they're doing something with difficulty. Ubers already, because that's what we need. Game that isn't released yet. Passives. Slightly changed. Mysterious anomalies can now appear on the atlas. That doesn't tell me anything. We have to see what that is. Modifiers on the waystones. I don't like the change that there's a downside to every modifier. Because one thing that I did like with the old system is that when you like roll the map, this one, and I mean now it rolled the prefix, so it's that's the positive one. But like if you roll the suffix, you could just like augment it, free extra stuff. Like I like that feeling, and now it's just back to PathXL1, and that's boring. Now some modifiers have been weaker for sure. Unidentified corrupted waystones can now be used to access a corrupted nexus. Sure. Waystones can no longer have greater than 8 modifiers when corrupted. Items found in very high level areas that can have random quality can now have up to 30% quality. This is something that I actually do like, because it makes ground drops a bit more interesting when looking for crafting bases. It's a bit similar to looking for ethereal stuff in or superior stuff in Diablo 2. I really like that. You can have one more socket sometimes. Renamed Abyss map. That makes sense because Abyss is a league now. Atlas tree changes. I have never looked at these, so who cares? Essences. They have now 4 tiers instead of 2, I guess. Instead of adding modifier, essence now add a specific modifier depending on the tier of essence and the type of item is being applied to. So it's basically Path XL1 essences again. Less than normal and greater essences upgraded. Can upgrade a magic item to rare, adding a guaranteed modifier. And the perfect problem and perfect essences and essences obtained through corruption remove a random modifier and augment a rare item with a guaranteed new modifier. It's basically the old harvest stuff, but as an item. 7 new essences. That. Yeah, rename one. Sure. General improvements. Unique strongboxes now have their own unique minimap icons. Wow. It's an odd. Added a minimap icon to the Rain Festival Beetle monster from the unique strongbox. Okay. Because there's a strongbox that spawns a beetle and that kind of just walks away. Sometimes a bit hard to follow. Asmira spirits. Delvin no longer appears alongside Asmira wisps during the campaign after the first time encountering. Nice. Asmira spirits now start appearing from the hunting grounds and beyond instead of Groundwood. Okay, so it's just the previous mechanic they added. They introduced it in like the first area, and now it's a bit later, not much later. We will probably run into a abyss in the first zone, in the Grellwood. So having both of them there would be a bit too much, I guess. Skill and persistent buff gems now sell to vendors for gold based on their level and quality. Do they sell for now? Oh, it's only 25. Okay, so I guess it's 26 next patch. I can't see this like being a good source of gold. The hooded one can no longer be placed in your hideout. You're still able to identify items from in towns, where Yana will continue to serve as the source of identifying items in your hideout once you completed the campaign. Let's see. Pretty sure I had him here. I guess we can put him here. Oh, fuck. Yes, we can. NPCs. Put the one here. I can't do it already. I guess he's somewhere then. I thought that he would at least be here for like a day. Did I put him here or something? How large is this? I don't. Oh well. Too bad. I guess I haven't completed the campaign in standard. Certain boss arena entrances no longer have a teleport for party members to enter after the fight has started. These players, you can instead just walk in. Okay, this is a bit like ungamification. Because like having a teleporter into the arena is very gamey, right? You're now able to log directly into town or hideout by holding control by selecting a character. Did we already log in directly to the hideout? I guess this switches it or moves it to town. I hope I don't have to hold control all the time from now on. It's not that big of a deal. You can now use checkpoints to warp to the waypoint in an area as well as other checkpoints. Yeah, this makes sense. I never understood why they weren't connected. Home is now stacked. That's fine because we have 0. Overchance has new art. Okay, let's say goodbye to the old Overchance art. Goodbye, old Overchance art. Wonder why. Why is this bad? Oh well. It's new, therefore it's good. Uncut skill support and reservation gems can now be traded through the currency exchange. That's nice. Party members can no longer fruitlessly attempt to open the expedition portals. Okay. Yeah, here's a big change actually. We'll see how this feels, but when holding down the dodge roll button, your character will now go into sprint after they finish the roll. Sprint is available on all character classes and there's no limitation to how long you can sprint for. So if you keep holding, oh, now it just keeps dodging, I guess. It will start sprinting. I don't know, like when I first heard them talk about this on the stream, I understood it as you would have to keep holding to keep sprinting. And if that's the case, I hate it. If I just hold, start sprinting, and then can release space, it's fine. But I don't know what happens in the case where, because on keyboard, right? When you switch to like from W to D, you have like, you oftentimes have like a 1 frame stop that you never really notice, but like you noticing when you code things. So we'll see how this works. I hope it doesn't like stop and like dodge roll all the time to keep restarting the sprint. And we also, like this thing, like if you take a hit, you get like a giga stun, like a 5 second or whatever stun. So, I mean, there will be rip clips with this. I'm sure of that. But we have to see how it feels. I don't want to hold down my space button forever. You can no longer socket multiple copies of the same skill gems into your main skill sockets. Skills not granted by gems and skills socked into persistent buff skill gems do not count towards this limit. Still have multiple copies of specters and Portane beasts, but only one of each kind of monster. I think this is simply a side effect of allowing multiple support gems. Because what you could do, if you could use the same support gem on multiple skills, you could literally socket like say for example Frostbomb has a cooldown, so I could just have like 5 frost bombs that are equally and do like Frostbomb, frost, like 5 of them just rotating. I think that is literally what this does. Like it prevents that, so you can now only have 1 skill of each type. Attribute requirements has been lowered. I think this is very welcome if this is just not a ruse, because they could very well lower the attribute requirements, but then also reduce the amount of attribute nodes on the tree, and then we end up feeling the same. But the attribute requirements was pretty high, so like a lot of skill trees had a lot of like traveling. Like a lot of attribute nodes, and like I don't know how many that always went for these things, like the 25 skill like stats, like beef, ingenuity. Hold on. ingenuity, and proficiency. Because I kind of always went for those, because they were like good ways of getting enough stats. The flip side is, of course, that it could mean that more nodes just become strength nodes for some builds. Like this build I'm playing right now literally goes as little intellect as you can, as far as I know. Maybe not. Oh yeah, there's on skills too, I suppose. Yeah, 164. So maybe I'm a bit overcapped, but yeah, like in general, this should allow us to pick up more like actual wheels and less attribute nodes. And now it always felt a bit too much. This is the same on skill gems as well. It's a bit too much, right, with the amount of attributes that you needed. Fire damage no longer inherently has the chance to ignite. Instead, it inflicts flammability on the enemy based on the damage it dealt. Flammability is a debuff that lasts for 4 seconds and grants all fire damage against the enemy, including the hit that applied flammability, a chance to ignite them equal to the flammability magnitude. Impossible to say. When I read this, it says to me that ignite will feel bad because you can't instantly ignite. It's awful that it's 4 seconds. If this was 40 seconds, I would be fine with it. I hate 4 seconds in Path Exile. It's just too low. And this is like multiplied by the fact that I think the fire skills are awful. Because none of these hit, really. Like this pulse is 1.4 seconds, so you get what is like 3 pulses. No, not even that, 2 pulses. Flame Wall doesn't do anything. Fusillade hits for too little, I guess. So you don't get a good ignite. Incinerate is bad. Fireball is bad. Firestorm never hits. And Flame Blast has 10 seconds 15 second cooldown, because Pac played this and actually made an ignite build. So like I don't think ignite will feel good no matter the numbers they put into this. Like even if they make this flammability all, like if you would make the flammability guarantee a ignite, it will still feel bad because you need to ignite, like hit twice to ignite. I just don't want the Path Exile 1 ignite, and I don't, because you can't. The way ignite is working Path Exile 2 is just bad. Like you just have to put down more nodes to deal less damage. Yeah, multiple hits can stack up flammability independently, meaning that a target being hit frequently and or hard enough will consistently have 100% chance to be ignited. And this is also like one of the nice things with ignite in Path Exile 1 is that you don't have to hit frequently. It's one of the few things that you don't need to hit frequently with. All other builds do. I kind of understand the point that hit hard enough for ignite, like that makes kind of sense, I guess. But it's like, again, the issue with this is that unless the new tree looks way different, is that when you do a hit fire build, you take all the all the fire damage nodes, like these things and whatnot, and these things. But then, if you want to make an ignite build, you still need the hit nodes, but you also take the ignite nodes. So it's like the way that it worked in PathXL 1 was that you didn't have to scale the hit in the same way, meaning that when your ignite fire build looked a bit different to, like, you had like nodes that were mutually exclusive. For example, the penetration nodes, I think they're still mutually exclusive to hit, like they're exclusive hit builds. So you don't pick these ones up when you but you do pick these ones up in PathXL 2 because you need to hit harder. Yeah, so yeah, that's the issue. Like, fire builds pick up fire nodes, ignite builds pick up fire nodes and ignite nodes, and that's very hard to work with. So I don't think ignite will feel good no matter what the numbers are here. Effects which don't hit but ignite targets as though they did, such as incinerate or ignite the ground, also inflicts flammability, but are not able to ignite targets until the target has 50% flammability. Okay, so what they're saying here is that incinerate, or like ignite the ground, I guess flame wall, will consume my flammability, so it's even worse. I get an awful ignite instead. Okay. Anything that removes, consumes, or grants immunity to ignite does the same thing for flammability. Okay. These changes do not affect how the ignite itself functions or is calculated once it has been applied, so it still is 0 damage. These changes also apply to any other non-fire damage that becomes capable of igniting. Yeah, I mean, sure, that makes sense. New. The Arcane Surge buff now grants 15% increased cast speed instead of 10% more cast speed. Okay, that's a big nerf. This is like one of those, like, you could present this patch note to someone else and they wouldn't understand that this is a nerf. Big number becomes small, like a small number becomes big number. It has to be better. No, like, this increased cast speed is so much worse than 10% more cast speed. Like, it's awful. I guess this is a nerf to Stormweaver. And it also makes Arcane Surge effect worse. Shock now lasts 8 seconds on non-players by default. I like this. I think 4 seconds is way too low for PathXL 2. I think 8 seconds should be default for everything. So because otherwise it just becomes too low to do combos and all that. So this should be a good thing. And for builds that one-shot bosses, this is no difference. Same with chills. Chill is up 8 from 2. What the fuck have they done? You have to reach third chill magnitude? Okay, chilling is impossible. Do I hit 30? Not mine. Anything about not dog. We have a map that's not the most awful map ever. Demon Springs. How did I even play this game? Like, this is a cold crit build. It's not scaling. Where's my V? Yep, it's over. We are not chilling anymore. I hit like, I froze them and had like 22%. You are not chilling with cold anymore unless you're spec'd into it. Chill is stronger, but yeah. You can't just pick up. Let's see. Overflow effects up to is this 1.5 times instead of 2. I think that's a good thing because I hate overflow as a mechanic, but it was also way too strong. Light stun chances of less than 50% now treat as 0%. Previously described as less than 10%, but that's been 20%. Okay. Okay, so it's basically just. I guess it's for monsters too, right? Because hopefully this means that we will get stunned a bit less. Elemental exposure now is 50% less effective on magic monsters. Okay, so it's just a exposure reduction. It's fine, I guess, because while it's 50% less effect, like exposure is still good on unique monsters due to the resistance that they usually have. Like, because removing resistance at the top end is way more effective than at the bottom end. I think that it's still going to be good, so don't let go of that frostbomb just yet. Unarmed attacks now have a base critical chance of 5%. Nice, I guess. Glory, no decays, you haven't gained in 15 seconds, previously 30. I have not played with Glory, so I don't know this, but I kind of dislike decay stuff because 15 seconds is usually fine though. It becomes really annoying when it's like 8 seconds decay. Because that's like invulnerability phases and whatnot for bosses usually are longer than that. Or ground's duration is now refreshed when it catches fire. I had no clue about this, but that's probably good. I guess it means that when you ignite the ground, it will always be ignited for the same amount of time. Gaining guard while you already have guard no longer replaces the existing guard buff with the new amount of guard you would gain. Oh, if the new amount of guard you would gain will be lower than the amount you already have. Instead, the duration of the existing guard buff is extended proportional to the amount of guard. Okay, this is probably good, right? Because like I don't know exactly what builds guard. I haven't played with this, but like overwriting a good buff with a bad buff from playing correctly is bad, right? And it's also like in line with the rest of the game. Like if you apply 2 chills to the target, the strongest one applies. I guess the duration increase doesn't align with the rest of the game. That's fine. Ice crystals will now instantly shatter from hits that could consume freezes. As this is now default behavior, Glacial Cascade of Fragmentation and Fragmentation Run no longer specifically call out this behavior. This is actually pretty interesting because like that means that you could cold snap these. Meaning the Frost Wall is again the primary choice for damage abilities for cold, I guess. I don't understand this game. Add a new mechanic called Elemental Infusion that many elemental spells interact with. This is something that, in general, is like something that I could gel with. Some skills create infusions of a specific element as remnants on the ground, which can be picked up to grant you the infusion. Other skills can consume infusion of a specific type to grant additional bonuses depending on the skill. Some skills consume infusions that match the skill's elemental type, while others have cross-elemental infusions. But I mean, this this changes. The proof is in the pudding here, or in the eating of that aforementioned pudding. We need to like figure out what this is all about. We have to like understand what skills give what infusion and what skills consume what infusion. And this could probably mix up the entire sorceress class, or the ones pretending to be one. Like I could see like you use one skill to put down infusion, pick that one up, and then unleash it for a stronger skill. I hope this is something that they look into Frozen Orb or Eye of Winter, I guess it's called, because alongside just making a numerical change to Eye of Winter, because it currently has the weird thing that it like consumes stuff like ground elemental effects, and it would feel way more natural if it's instead consumed infusions, I think. But we'll see what happens with these. Like, I would expect these changes to be so massive, or like there's so many changes in this list that like they're not in here. We just have to like figure out what this means when we have the patch available. Renamed. Do we know care about the interface? No. Reloading a crossbow and switching crossbow and ammunition no longer reduces the player's movement speed. Oh, okay, I guess. Blocking is no longer limited to strikes and projectiles by default. All hits that are not specifically unblockable with a red flash can be blocked. Hard to say what this actually means, because I guess this also means passive block, because I never use raise shield or parry. Parry is pretty cool, but it's hard to use. Okay, raise. We have to see what this means. Probably a block buff. Raise shield and parry now require you to face the enemy that is hitting you, rather than the direction from which the hit originates. I can see their reasoning here. That it's unclear. Because like the issue, right, is that sorry for the flashbang. That something, the big boss guy, he has horns, so he's a boss. Hits you with big hammer, slams you over there. Your character is here with a shield facing that way. And previously in the patch, this would hurt you because the attack originates from here, but now it won't because you are facing the enemy. This should be easier to play, but I don't like it. Just from like a pure, what we want to call it, like if I don't like facing something, facing the person, like facing the user of attack shouldn't. Like there will be a weird case where this matters, right? Like, does this affect projectiles? Oh no. You have to play this, I guess. Hey, minion monster. Base maximum block chance now 50%. Okay, it's not a buff to block. This is like a I don't know how easy it was to reach 75% block previously, but in general, I think that this is a good thing. Because block is one of those like inherently unbalanced things because they remove damage. It's a bit like evasion, I guess. And this is not just a 25% nerf as well. This is a oh, what is it? It's a reduced by half its effectiveness because block becomes better the closer you are to 100%. So going from 75 to 76 is way better than going from 50 to 51. So like this is a I don't think you can rely on block anymore, which kind of makes block something that you use against multiple enemies, right? A bunch, like if 40 enemies are hitting you, removing half of their attacks is good, but you can't rely on this number for avoiding boss attacks. Which you could do with 75, and especially if you increase it with other means above 75. I think there are ways of getting like 98% effective block FXL1, and you basically are immortal at that point. It's a nerf for sure, a big one at that. And block, I don't know if we had max block builds, all of them, but they are completely killed here. The fix which sets the maximum volatility now properly do so instead of being additive with the default cap of 200. Sure, someone has probably used volatility at some point. Base now gains 6 accuracy rating per level, previously 3. Each point of dexterity grants 6 accuracy, previously 5. So accuracy should be easier. Accuracy fall off penalty now linearly interpolates from 2 meters down to 9 meters. Maximum penalty being 90% less accuracy rate at the distance of 9 meters and further. Previously there was no maximum, and at 14 meters you had 100% less accuracy rate, so you could never hit self at 14 meters. Both of these mean this means way easier accuracy. This was a linear interpolation now. I don't know what it was before. If it was like an exponential, this makes the accuracy fall off a bit. Like I don't know math. If we went from this to this, it's a nerf. I guess it's a capped value, so it looks like that. If it looked like this before, it's a buff. But I guess it would be similar. No, it reaches 0%, so it's probably the first, like this one. This one. We'll see. I don't think it really matters. Because I don't think accuracy was that hard to hit. Play minions don't have accuracy anymore with attacks. I think this is a nice thing. Because like in PFXR1, the accuracy was always like weird to scale for minions, and it gave minions like yet another thing that scaled from minion levels. Like normally leveling spells with like the skill gem is very good because they have like a lot of base damage. Minions also have that because they're spells. But minions also scale with increased life, and they increase the level, which affect accuracy in some other ways, and they also got more accuracy. So like scaling minion levels was super strong. Way stronger than any other, I guess. There might be some, but most other skill gems. And this basically means that this one less. So levels might be a little. Levels are still super good for minions, but they're not as important to make them hit with attacks. Player projectile skills now fire a minimum of 1 projectile, even if they should fire 0. Is there a way of doing something with this? Because it essentially means that at some point you are immune to drawbacks in terms of number of projectiles. So maybe there's like a edge case that could be used, but I guess this, I don't know why they make this change, to be honest. It might be something I'm missing from the meta or whatever. Swapping weapons now instant, okay. It was pretty fast, but I do think that anything that encourages weapon swapping is nice, so maybe this will help it a bit. All charge consuming skills now pause their corresponding charge duration while in use. Is this so they don't run out while they're trying to consume them? What if you can use this in some deranged way? Like you start using the charge consuming skill and dodge roll out of it to just keep your charges going. Probably not right. Elemental damage recouped as life and physical damage recouped as life, and now display in the life section of the character panel. Nice. Clarify the stun keyword that monster melee damage has 33% more light stun chance and heavy stun buildup, and monster physical damage has 100% more light stun chance and heavy stun. It doesn't make sense. Like, it doesn't matter. They can, because we don't know what the stun chance are for stuff. So that the fact that they have more stun chance and build up doesn't make it like any sense, because we have no value here, right? Oh well, it's there. Remove stun. Updated ice crystal keyword to clarify the blocks movements of smaller monsters, while larger monsters will destroy any crystal in the path. Yeah, this is super annoying, and I wish it worked on all of them, because that's my entire build. Updated keyword pop up for main to include its base duration. Cool. Won't be done today, will I? We need to speed up a bit. I have never played Warbringer, but they can now have one more totem. Fuck it, I don't know about these guys. Like these Warbringer and Smith of Kitava, like these are just things I don't enjoy playing. Gemling is a bit nicer. The advanced thaumaturgy notable passive no longer grants 30% less cost of skill, or skill gems have 30% more attribute requirements. It now grants the thaumaturgical dynamism, that's a word, buff, which while active causes you to passively generate a power, frenzy, or endurance charge once every 8 seconds. This is super strong, actually. The type of charge you generate is determined by the attribute requirements of your socked skill gems. The higher the total strength, socked skill gems, the more. Oh, it's likely it's just not the highest. Okay, so it's not that good. Because if you could ensure that it's always a specific charge, 8 seconds is a very good number. Because it means that you can have max charges after a few seconds. Always. But charges are not as important in this game, because they don't give passive stat bonuses. And they make it needlessly hard to get them for whatever reason. Gem-studded notable passive skill no longer grants you can use each type of support gem an additional time. Makes sense because that's everywhere. Instead, it now provides for each color of sucked gem that is the most numerous gain. For red, hits against you have no critical damage bonus. Blue, skills have 30% less cost. Green, 40% less movement speed penalty from using skills while moving. This one is a defensive thing, which is pretty good. I don't like. Maybe skill cost is nice for some. Like I feel like if you have issues with skill cost, there's other issues in your life that you have to tackle first. I mean, green, move faster. Cool. I haven't played Tactician, so these are, but these seems to be like ballista stuff. I don't know if these can be used for the new thing. This is this guy, right? The cannon. Don't know if that counts as a totem because this could be like a thing, right? For that, but something we skip it because I don't know. Witch Hunter is one, so I'll just read it. Weapon Master notable skill now grants 100 passive skill points become weapon skill set points, previously 20. Preceding small passive now grants 6% decrease. Cooldown recovery rate instead of weapon set skill points. Okay. Basically, Witch Hunter can now literally have their entire tree. Like this is basically dual spec because you can go like all the way here for some stuff and then have it all over here for another up here. Like I think this could be like kind of good. The difficulty is that you have to set up 2 trees that has the correct amount of attributes for your gear and all that. So like this is a PoE warrior thing, but there is probably something if you find like a cool combo between 2 trees that are vastly different from each other, like a spell spear thing, for example, is very difficult to make nowadays because they're on the opposite sides of the tree. Ritualist. Which one of them is that? It's one of these guys. Which? Or is it a ranger? Huntress? Yes. I've not looked at these too much. Oh yeah, this was the like extra ring and carve enemies, like it was Monster Hunter. Yeah, ritual sacrifice and all that. Okay, so they remove whisper, ask notable, with somewhere else. Wild with persistence, nothing. Okay. Amazon, I guess this is getting a nerf. The critical strikes passive notable skill now has gained additional critical hit chance equal to 50% of excess chance to hit with attacks. Previously 25. Yeah, and they removed the hobble. So it's a nerf because this was a very strong ascendancy. The elemental surge notable passive skill previous elemental infusions now grant 3 surges when consuming a power what are surges? This one, right? Yeah, it's called infusions. I don't know, like I don't even remember what this was. Okay, Pathfinder. Evasion, 2 elemental damage reductions above. Poison's concoction now sucks. I think. Okay. Must be renamed acidic concoction. The concoction consumes charges from your mana flask to throw a flask that explodes, dealing physical attack damage in an area. The thrown flask consumes poison on hit. To cause an acidic burst, which deals damage based on the highest expected remaining damage of poison on the target. Acidic concoction and acidic burst cannot poison. Acidic burst deals unscalable physical damage equal to 150% of the expected remaining damage of the consumed poison, and has 30% more area of effect per poison affecting the enemy. I think this is actually not too bad. Because it's... I mean, no, it's pretty bad. Because this can't poison, so you can't scale it properly. Because you want to scale poison damage, of course, and scaling this physical damage. Maybe you can do something with it, because in theory, like if you throw this into a group of enemies, you deal more damage, right? Even if there's a bunch of poisons, it just picks the best one and deals that damage everywhere. I think they would end up taking more damage. Yeah, they would. Okay, so it could be something to finish off poison. Fulminating concoction created by the same thing no longer inflicts lightning exposure. More shock effect instead. Shattering freezes instead of exposure. Bleeding aggravates rather than having magnitude. Can I just remove aggravate already? Explosive. Mini flask. I mean, this doesn't work anyway. Now fires up to 4 additional mini flask projectiles at ignited enemies, which enemies won't be ignited. I guess they can't target the same enemy, so it's awful. Maybe. Explosive concoction, blah blah. Jedi. Instead of max frenzy charge, you get an additional but a higher chance. Called shots notable. No additional mark. But it costs you projectiles to chain 2 marked enemies. Grants the new call shots meta skill that repeatedly marks enemies near you, bypassing the mark limit. What the hell? This sounds super cool. You just like mark things next to you and you just like chain stuff. Bypassing mark limit. It's also sick. It's projectiles, right? This could be a spell as well. This could be cool. The eagle eye. Where is it on the tree? Called shots. This one. Okay, so just 2 points. I think then you have like additional projectile. This could be cool. The eagle eye's notable passive has been renamed. No longer removes the distance based accuracy because we don't care. Instead, it applies 10 stacks of critical weakness to enemies when you consume a mark on them. Hey, you consume marks on this. It's not as crazy then. It's still pretty cool. But yeah, maybe we could do something with this. In Joker, buffs. No, still pick meditate, doesn't matter. They did a bunch of stuff with Acolyte of Shajusi. Leech recover based on chaos. The lucid dream notable pass no longer provides any benefits of self. Instead, now has being a multi-choice notable with the following choices. Choice of life. All flame of Shajula you manifest are red. Oh, I can pick colors of them. What does that do? Inter breach, blah blah. Now we're so Remus bomb supporter skills have more effect. Cool, I guess. Grasp of the void. Void illusion. The new skill. We don't know about it. I think we've seen this, but we don't know about it. Raise dark spell. Darkness reservation for 5 seconds. Dark. I mean, you won't. Will never give up spirit, so that doesn't matter. More darkness by chaos resistance. Volatility on inflicting ailment. Can't do that because igniting, chilling, freezing, and I guess shocking is pretty simple still. The others are difficult. Maybe. Assuming questions on rambling, it no longer grants you can't recharge energy shield or mana leech also blah blah. Instead, now grants chaos damage from hits also contributes to ignite chance and magnitude, freeze build-up, or shock chance changing every 2 seconds, so fuck that. Hit those. Blood Mage. Nice. This, because one issue with the Blood Mage was the the Sanguimancy. Because you do the first trial and your character becomes worse. Like I have no joke done this after the first trial and just kept playing until I get the third one, because then it becomes useful. So I think that's a good thing. And yeah, it also had a very weird crit focus, but it's like this entire thing, because you need these two. Let's see. You kind of want the spell leech. If the spell leech wasn't merged into this, it would be nice. And then you pick one of these, I guess. But you also kind of want the crits ignore monster armor, because yeah, crits the life remnants need to only spawn on crits, right? So you want crits, but you want strong crits. But now you're physical based, so you don't do that. But you can't I mean spell damage. Yeah, so this would be a crit focus. I think normally when it was a very weird things, and I hope this just goes out to the right now, and you can start picking these instantly. That would make this feel a lot better. So the Blood Mage could be cool. So third flash. Yeah, these two have also swap positions, which is good. This is a fucking strong thing. Yeah, that's also one thing. If you go here, you kind of want to also take this one, because getting a base crit at 50% is so strong. But now you have 2 points, so you have to take this to offset the life cost. And yeah, it would be nice to do one of the other things, perhaps, because the other side is also strong. No, it's not. It's awful. I guess Grasping Wound is good. Blood Mage could be cool. Between the cracks, notable skill has been renamed to something. It's no longer crits to ignore armor. Instead, Gain 1 life flask charge by 4% life spent. 50% less recovery from flasks. It's awful. Nice. Yeah, this is awful. Maybe. 3 seconds is way too low here. I don't like this. It's probably a way to make this work, but yeah. The open source notable path skills be renamed to something. Whispers of Flesh no longer grants you curse saving inspiration. Instead, now grants enemies affected by your curses have at least 50% of life reserved. Okay. Yeah. Blood Mage is strong. This is like preserving life and enemies is super strong because you can just put this as an aura, right? But you don't even have to because things have not like just cursing takes off like removes 50% of life. I'm pretty sure this will be nerfed next patch. Because this is way too strong as bosses. It will say something like 15, 10 against champions, 8, 6 against unique, and 4% against the pinnacle boss. Something like it will be something like that in the next patch. I'm pretty sure. This is strong. Infernalist, my cold damage build of choice. Dog is igniting more. Inferno. This is just demon form stuff, and I really dislike demon form, so I'm just going to skip it. Lich. Rename it. Now grants your curses have infinite duration instead of your curses can affect hexproof enemies. This is awful. Being able to affect hexproof is so much stronger. Infinite curse duration is nice, but like you're not stronger. You can also it also prevents you from using Hex Blast. This does nothing. What does it do? 30% more damage when sacrificing any shield. With spells, sacrifice 5% of energy shield when you cast a spell, and sacrificing energy shield does not interrupt recharge. I mean, this is still really good. I think it was better before, right? Yeah, because it was a cost. Okay. This now they've changed it from a small cost to a big sacrifice. I guess because you can scale cost, you can't scale sacrifices. So if I know. Price of power notable, no longer grants whatever. Now spells consume a power charge to be 4% more damage. So it also works on channeling skills and is stronger. This is like super strong. Click the wrong thing. Power charge. Glitch. Chronomancer. They do weird things with this every patch. I like the idea of a time mage, but they seem to have issues implementing one. Because they had like this super strong unleash, but the unleash skill was pretty cool, but they removed it. Now grants the skill inevitable agony, which curses all targets in an area after a short delay, causing a portion of the damage to take from hits to be stored in the curse debuff. When the curse duration expires, you take that stored damage again, all at once. It's very hard to tell how much this is. There are some things that you can do on the extreme end, which is like you can make a 2 button build You can make double curse Doom Blast. And just alternate curses. Or 3 curses, so you need 2 at least. And you can make like a 2-button build, like curse and then hit, and the curse duration is so low that it explodes right after. It's like this weird thing, right? Because we do want a long curse to do stuff with, because casting curses all the time is annoying. But that means it only works against rares, but maybe that's a good thing, because not everything does. We also don't know how much a portion is. If this is like 40%, it's good, because that's like Lich deal 40% more damage, and this would technically be like a conditional 40% more damage, which this also is, of course. Like, this is conditional. So if it's in the ballpark of like 30 to 40, I think it's pretty good. If it's 20, I have my doubts. If it's 10, it's awful. But there's probably builds that can use this. Quicksand Hourglass passive no longer guarantees 50% more cast speed 5 seconds. I like that because I hate these things. Sense of Time grants cast speed scaling down. This one I have read before, and I talked about it with a few friends of mine. And it's basically a hourglass, right? Which is pretty neat, because your cast speed starts at 60, scaling down to 1% over 10 seconds, while it also has air effect that starts at 1 that scales up. So like it's like an hourglass moving from one side to the other. This is still kind of one of those conditional things, but I think this would be like slightly nicer. It's just that I don't feel that 60% cast speed and 60% area of effect are equal. But we'll see. Like it's better, and changing cast speed, it kind of feels weird to play, because each cast your character feels different. Like area of effect is just like, if more area of effect always feels better, but you never like you would never make a build that would have this number be like 30 to be playable or something. So like either you need to have enough area effect without this, but this just makes it feel a little bit better. And but the cast speed makes the character feel really weird. So like I think this is one of those nothing burgers, kind of, because it can never enable a build, I feel, because you don't have control over the timing and all that. I guess you can maybe, no, you can't suck it duration. Yeah. You don't have enough control over this, so it's never like build enabling, because both are conditional effects. And yeah, so I don't see many people playing this. Stormweaver. Elemental Storm has lower cooldown. Rain Dancer, renamed. More +1 limit. Globally, Stormweaver might still be good. Force of Will no longer affects Arcane Surge. The mini Mido Matter. And you get more Arcane Surge per missing mana. I mean, that's not bad. I mean, this is better, of course, but I don't think this is bad. Like, it's worse, but it's not awful. And it also works in a nice way where it prevents you from running out of mana, but not, yeah, like completely invalidate it, like the mana, like make the mana region so strong that it doesn't matter. Scoring wins, renamed, exposure and removed. Instead, it now grants remnants you create reappear once, 3 seconds after being collected. I'm doing good, thank you. How are yourself? Just reading patch notes, and I won't be able to finish today because there are a billion of them. Where are we? I lost my... Here we go. Heart of Storm has been renamed, no longer grants elemental damage taken recoup. Finish shield. Provides 50% chance when collecting a elemental infusion to gain another elemental infusion. I think Storm Reaver could be cool. Like, if you play into the whole like elemental infusion. Did I? We'll see. It might be good. I think these are very... Oh, they've redone Elemental Equilibrium. Where is that? Oh yeah, it's still down here. Isn't it way out of the way for everything in Fusion? Maybe not. I think this is never good, but it could make for a very cool build where you like just get random infusions and use whatever you have, and like the moment-to-moment gameplay with this could be pretty cool if it works out, but I don't think it would be good. Surely Eternal Youth would be something else. Oh, here it is. Oh yeah. Hold on. Life recharges instead of your energy shield. Life recover from flask applies the energy shield instead. And they've changed it to now causes your life flask to have 50% less recovery instead of recover energy shield instead. So okay, Eternal Youth cannot be used. Like I think it's worse, right? How do you regain energy with this now? You can only regain it with Leech, I guess. Because this disables the ES recharge for it. And since you can't recover with life, I guess you can regen it still with other sources of that. This feels way worse. Giant's Blood Keystone Pass now halves the amount of life granted by strength. This one. Oh, the Titan script thing. Okay, I don't know why that needed nerf, but sure. Probably good reason. Glancing Blow. Chance to evade is unlucky, chance to deflect is lucky. No longer provides block chance doubled. What is... Oh, deflect is a new thing, right? It's like the spell suppression for everything. I mean, this is so much better, right? Get out of the way, right? Is Glancing Blow still the Templar? No, it's down here. Maybe. Sorry, I don't think you're a big fan when you created the account 19 hours ago and following since 25 seconds ago, and then drops the Discord link. My biggest fan banned. Plus one follower. Bunch of clusters. Cool. Source of error effect has been lowered. Okay. I don't know what this is. Reduce reservations of skills. Okay, they made the same mistake again, but fixed it way earlier this time around. An existing cluster, so it's whatever. Small passives. And outward highways between class start locations. Does that mean like these have one less? That would be really nice. Like, I think that going between classes is way too difficult in the Path Extra 2 skill tree. Skill changes. I won't go into too much detail here because it's getting late, but let's look at some of these. Base damage, scale and fall, play spells has been tweaked to scale better in the late game. Cool. I hope there is a singular old skill that's not Ice Wall. Spells. Generally speaking, spells that do not have damage numbers ranges called out below will have a near identical base damage at lower levels, roughly 5% more damage at level 20, and roughly 20% more damage at gen level 30. That's a big increase, and I'm not sure that's a good thing. I think the damage was already too high. The mana cost growth for all skills has been rebalanced. Low level, slightly higher, and slightly lower. Potentially slightly higher mana cost is some intermediate gen. But yeah, lower mana cost, I think that's a good thing. They went a bit overboard, I think. It's a bit too much mana to solve. Banners, I don't know how they work. First skills that apply mental exposure now can't apply those debuffs to enemies at a significantly higher level than the skill's own level requirement. I like significantly. This is probably like 20 levels. This is literally only so you don't use like a level 1 curse, I guess. Because the growth of curses isn't too big for people who don't invest in it. Blink, Convalescence, and Sacrifice can no longer be activated in specific weapon sets. Okay, so it's just nerfs to a few of these. So you don't weapon swap for Blink. Wonder why. Isn't that what they want? Higher rarity enemies are now less affected by curses. Yeah, I mean, this is going to happen to Blood Mage next batch. Yeah, I don't know. Sure. The movement speed penalty affected by skills fall off slightly more quickly. Only arc was a usable skill, like really nice because I really like using arc. Because specters should be lower and they are better. Yeah, because the specters and tame beasts were completely useless. I think was it Gassy and a few others did like a list of every fucking monster in the entire game, and there was like 2 specters that was kind of nice. That's everything. Mark skills are no longer spells. Insta skills such as Unbound Avatar now usable while on the raw amount. Preservation skills that had reduced restoration with quality now has increased it. Yeah, for sure. Palm strikes. Okay, they use this item instead of being unarmed, I guess. I don't know. I like this change actually. It's like this. It was super weird with totems that they use their own weapons coming from PathXL1, and I think it made it easier for them to balance these. But it was also something that felt wrong, right? Because all of these are attack skills, and not using the weapon for that feels pretty weird. And it kind of just meant that your weapon, the only stat that mattered for totem builds was skill levels, right? I think this makes more sense in Path of Exile to have them use your weapon skill or weapon. They should make it. I don't know if it's a buff or nerf, but it should make it more interesting to roll a weapon for these things. And is Runebinder a thing? Yeah, Ancestral Bond. So it also means that you can always use your weapon alongside your ballistas and whatnot, which you didn't really do in PoE 1 due to Ancestral Bond being a thing. Stop world winding. Idiots. This is fine. Ancestral boost the slams, now have 55% increase from 20. Okay, there's skills on ones and staves, deal more damage, doesn't matter. Ancestral Warrior Totem has no limit. It requires 3 endurance charges. Arc is now a projectile, no longer causes explosion against shock to enemies and is no longer a payoff skill. Now chains 6 to 9 times, nice, at gems level 5 to 20. Now has 50% more shock magnitude, you can now consume our lightning infusion to chain additional times and deal more damage. Now deals damage, slightly more, kind of a lot more. But this doesn't deal additional damage per remaining chain. I kind of missed that. I really think that was a nice way of it was a nice way, I feel, to uniquely scale a spell. But it makes it a projectile. This could be cool. Because we can use stuff with projectiles. We have Deadeye, of course. Get an additional projectile here. And since they chain, they should also have far shot, right? Yeah, I think Deadeye looks cool. Archmage. Nerfed. No, it's actually buffed. 1%. Armor piercing rounds. Quality now brace armor. A bit less. Artillery ballista has been renamed. They rename a lot of stuff. Duration, that's 8 seconds. Instead of 16. Why? 25% base. It's less damage. I mean, I think this is mostly a change to make it work with the new like used weapon instead of flat damage, so I wouldn't read too much into these damage numbers. Ball lightning can now consume a fire infusion to leave a trail of ignited ground and explode at the end of its travel. Okay. Bather shout. I don't know what that is. Berserk, I don't know. By Inspector, quality is damage, more damage. Link. No longer counts as dodge rolling, so you don't sprint from Link. Blood Hunt. Explosion causes life loss. Scalable damage. I think that was one of the new skills last patch. Who cares? We need to speed up. Bone Offering. Spike duration is now 8 seconds. Explosion radius 0.4. What the fuck is Bone Offering? Isn't that the circle on the ground? Oh, it's the offering, like the actual offering. Yes. I don't want to play skeletons. Bone Zone. More damage against unique. Card log in. Cast to freeze has been combined to cast an elemental ailment. It's nice, you can use multiple, so you can, but it's way harder to chill, right? So maybe this could be cool. Chaos Bolt grants by Wither Wand. Who cares? It actually applies withers, so that's pretty cool. Cluster Grenade. Sure. Cold Snap has been reworked, named Snap. It can now be used on any frozen shock to ignite an enemy on a frost or on a frostbolt, causing an explosion, the corresponding damage type, and creating a remnant of the corresponding type from the enemies. This explosion can chain react to a limited extent from enemies that hit from enemies hit that are affected by the same ailment. I wonder how like this works. Because this still wants you to use one ailment, right? But it also spawns remnants. Is it 810 cold damage? What's it now? Oh, I can probably just read that here, right? Slight nerf, but okay. I didn't use my cold snap to actually do things. I only used it to explode stuff. And it has like the. I mean, maybe this could be cool. I need to know more about the remnants and all that to make a decision. But I could see something like the shock one being pretty decent, but it also is quite low damage, right? The cold damage is way better. What are the crit chances? If it's still using the cold crit chance, that could also make a difference. Combat Frenzy. Comet. Deals slightly more damage on level 11. And 20. Cannot be fire infused to deal extra fire damage against base radius. Pretty cool. Like, there's probably so many fusion stuff that it's hard to like wrap your head around it. Bolt Enterprise Contagion 1.022 additional enemies when cast. Oh. This is nice. Contagion will now be able to target multiple enemies without having to socket unleash to it. Because that was a mandatory gem, more or less, I felt like. Dark Effigy, impact radius instead of withered. I have been thinking of making a Dark Effigy build, so maybe. Spare. Oh, they super buffed it, but then reduced it again. It's super strong against normal enemies, but equal to bosses. Wonder why that is. Detonate arrow, whatever, disengage, whatever, banners, whatever, slams, whatever. I don't know these. Fusillade. And will be infused with lightning to cause each ember in the entire fusillade to create a beam that chains lightning damage to enemies. Infusion is consumed, the fusillade fires all embers in that fusillade. Now it's a minimum jump again. So it's a later. Emergency reload, enfeeble. So they removed the. I guess the curse resistance from uniques is the same. Escape shot to the explosive spear, Eye of Winter. When passing through an allied flame wall, the eye itself and now all the shards subsequently released will receive the flame wall's added fire damage. Okay, so they didn't do Eye of Winter. Maybe this would actually make it somewhat decent, because like the big issue with Eye of Winter is the damage. Like it deals no damage, and because like this is a level 13 flame wall. It deals like 116 to 174. Eye of Winter deals 7 to 10. Like I don't understand who made these numbers, because they feel like they're off by a magnitude of 10. Like if it did 70 to 100 damage, it would be kind of okay, I guess. So maybe, depending on what flame wall it gets, if it stays the same, it could actually be something. Falling Thunder. Sure. Fires of Frost. I don't remember what that is. Fireball. No longer creates secondary fireballs projectiles by default. Instead, you can now consume a fire fusion to do so. So you get it earlier. This deals a bit more damage. I mean, this number is still like laughably low. Like if it was at 800, might be worth looking at. I guess I have to do this extra thing. But I don't understand. I guess they can hit the same target as the normal fireball. I don't know. Like it feels like the fireball. The only thing it was used for was like encaging monsters in a frost wall and then getting a bunch of like terrain bounces. Firestorm radius lower bolts, no longer consumes, only igniting everything. Consumes effusions. Oh yeah, this one you can make like if you can keep a lot of infusions up, this could be pretty cool. because with all infusions you gain a bunch, like fire infusion makes it better than previous patch. And then on top of that, you get cold and lightning infusion, which is additional bolts. So like this could be something, but it's hard to set up. Firestorm. This will look very good in PoE for sure. Flame Wall can now use lightning. But I guess it doesn't work alongside this, right? Okay, what's the damage? It's actually... Yeah, the damage is way lower. I still think that the Eye of Winter could be like somewhat decent with this. Hard to say. I think it might need something else, but like it's not the worst ability in the game anymore. Freezing Salvo. Freeze build up. Sure. Frost Bomb. Weaker. Fuck. I like Frost Bomb. It's worse in every way, but it chills like hell. A limit of 1. You can overcome that. Yes, it doesn't have a cool... Yeah, it's a cool... I know. Talk about ruining my build. Like, I hate this because I don't know why they made Frostwall the strongest ability in the game. Sorry, Ezekiel. I don't believe account created 7 minutes ago. Following since 11 seconds ago, and yeah, people don't even see this because it's a likely ban invader. They are correct. The bot. Yeah, okay. Because Frostwall is like the best ability to use for damage, because they kind of like stack on top of each other and deal a lot of damage. But what you do is basically put these under enemies so they like instantly explode when they move over them, and that's how this build deals damage, because all the other frost skills are awful, and right now they just make it deal 80% less damage when you do it like that. So it completely murders this build that I've been playing, and I don't see anything that would be better, because even Frostbolt is dealing way less damage. Like, if Frostbolt dealt like 3 times more damage, it could actually be kind of decent. I don't see this happening. A bit. Don't know these. And if I use X-Blast, still awful. It's even worse actually. Holy X class is garbage. It was my favorite skill in Path XL1 at some point. It was so nice to use. Ice Nova can use something. Ice Shards. And skip past. Incendiary has been reworked. Now requires fuel by gained by spending mana to use. This no longer has a mana cost of itself and no longer requires fire exposure. What the hell is going on? Gasp is now fixing a stage or whatever. Code length is longer. What is happening? Why am I even reading? I'm not going to play Incinerate. Lightning Conduit no longer consume shocks. Pretty decent damage, I think. Or cooldown, but we can mix around. Oh, that's a 2 initial bolts if a shocked enemy is in the target area. Quality provides more damage with hits per 5% shock element. Maybe. Like this is a something you finish things off with, so it's not a big deal. Lightning Rod, Lightning Spear, 5 bolts instead of more. No longer deal more damage. I'm not good. I'm going to hate this skill until they make the pierce work like in Diablo 2. Living bomb, solar armor, swap places, whatever. No, it's not whatever. I mean, solar orb was like a thing you used, right? Because it's the it's only flame blast, I guess. I know we use flame blast. Okay, it's insignificant. You get living bomb, I guess. Kind of decent damage, I guess. But it's delayed. 5 seconds. But it doesn't explode by itself, so it's you still need to do other things to it. Magma barrier, whatever, mana drain, whatever. And the remnants, whatever. Orb of Storms, triggers cast a spell radius. And this spell, okay. Creates a lightning infusion remnant if all are used up or its duration expires. I mean, you like this is a decent way of like building infusion at least. Perfect. Perfect. Plasma. A ritual. Why did that need a nerf? Travel skill. Just kind of scrolling through these. just picking up a few of these because it's very late. New source reward. Volt. Okay, yes, something. Spark can be cold infused to fire a large number of icy sparks in a circle. Huh, interesting. Fuck. That's why it was so strong. Like the spear field also gets the same treatment as a ice wall. And, I don't know, like this feels such a like forced way of making the skill work the way they want it. I don't know how to make it work in a better way, but this feels bad. Guess temp chains gets the same treatment here. Those things. Unique item changes. I don't use uniques. Unless Rise of Phoenix is here or whatever. Item changes. Cares? Who cares? Use these. Anything that's that's neat, nice. Not really. Slight nerf to some runes and buffs to others, I guess. Whatever. You still got to use the same runes, just better, worse. Soul cores, I'm never getting those. What is a fox talisman? All these socketables. Easier to hit. Well, I guess we got both accuracy and lower evasion on monsters, so like, will accuracy, like, why even have accuracy at this point? I guess it's just to prevent spellcasters from just weaving in small attacks without. I would imagine something like Vigilant Strike used to be very popular in PoE1, and or like Smite is right now, but you kind of just have to go and pick. I guess Smite is, you still get the AoE. It doesn't. You don't even have to hit with Smite. So I guess that's the reasoning. Reduced boss damage in Act 3? Does that make sense? I only remember Doriani. He has quite a health pool, but it's like such a joke as a boss. I guess Viper could be nice with a bit lower. It's like this only really matters for the first character, but that first character might be important though. It means that like subsequent characters would be like a complete joke, even on hardcore. Rogue Exiles now get an additional whatever. Okay, that's good, I guess. The map version of Rat location. That's the guy, the skeleton in the hole, right? Somehow I always run into this guy. It was so annoying. Thank God they reduced the river hags a bit. I think the correct number here is 100%. The face. I mean, you have to fix this. Add a new aiming mode input option that allows you to pick between cursor targeting and ground targeting when using a mouse and keyboard. Cursor targeting causes skills that travel directly forward, such as the most projectiles and strikes, to pass directly through your cursor's position. Ground targeting, i.e. pre-0.3 targeting behavior, causes these skills to pass over the ground location targeted by the cursor. Skills that directly target the ground will do so to your cursor's location regardless of the setting. By default, cursor targeting is enabled for advanced, and ground targeting is a move. There was something wrong with the targeting with Rust, and I want to try this because it was. I noticed this mostly when trying out parry, that it felt like I was targeting the thing that I parried, but I oftentimes targeted something else. Yeah. Added a new keep sprinting while moving gameplay interface option. When this option enabled, you will continue to sprint even after releasing the dodge button until you stop moving or use the skill. Okay, so you have the option to hold the space button. That's good. Add the option to assign your equipped weapons to both your weapon sets instead of need to use different items in the weapon set. This can be enabled by right-clicking the weapon set icon keyboard and holding Y with the weapon highlighted. Okay. Is this okay? I don't. I mean, it could make sense. I do wonder if you can do this like semi thing where you kind of use the same shield, for example, in both sets, but you have different one-handed weapons. Like if I don't know, like it's probably not right, but like this is probably a good thing. More options is always nice. Party revive. I don't do parties, rituals, whatever. I don't do rituals. I don't do wisps. Fun during the trial. Controller. Yeah. Not using that. Added support for the import keyword in item filters. Oh, we C++ now. Added support for multiple custom sounds in item filter. Huh. Bunch of microtransactions, bunch of bug fixes. I'm not interested in reading those. Don't care. I guess these was added in the patch notes, right? Yes, it was. We got to the end. Believe it or not. There won't be any builds done today. I have some ideas here, which is nice. That's what I set out to do. Because we also don't have a new PoE until sometime. The new Blood Mage looks really good because we have Sundered Flesh here instead, and we don't have to take Sanguimancy. I don't know how this will look, this tree, but you could make some really cool like crit spell happening here. And potentially low life, depending on what they do with pain attunement. Like, it's literally what I'm doing with this build, right? I have Coward's Legacy, so I'm considered low life at 75% life. When I'm Infernalist, I just pick up Bay.Sand Sand reserve, which means that pain attunement, grinning immolation also works. Like this is dealing a lot of crit damage bonus, which is really nice. I think I don't know how much I have at this point. Let's look at Frostbomb, for example. Yeah, 500%. So crits are very, very strong. And doing something like this, but for other skills and on Blood Mage might be cool. Because you can use basically any spells. Because I'm using Cold because those have higher base crit. You can easily use like Arcane or something. Or not Arcane, Lightning. Too much World of Warcraft lately. And there's things to do there. I think Lich is still very strong. Stormweave has some new cool things. Strong also looks about the same. I don't know enough about Chayula guy, but it's probably better. Deadeye looks absolutely insane for everything. Because you also like the new deflection thing is super strong. Because evasion is already strong, and yeah, just add deflection, and now you're even more tanky than armor. So like I think it's hard to say, and I guess you should also look at the cannon grenade thing. That might be cool. The Legionnaire might be cool for that as well. Lower requirements. So nice. But overall, I think this will not change the game too much. Which is really boring to say, but I don't know. I think the ship has sailed for a cooler Path XL2, unfortunately. Anyways, it's way too late. I'm super tired. I have read patch notes for 3 hours. It was a new experience. And I kind of understand how streamers spend like 4 or 5 hours doing this. Because I skipped unique items because I don't care. And I skipped a bunch of skills and all the bug fixes. Because like who cares what bug, or like most of item fixes, or yeah, bug fixes is sure they exist. I don't, there should be less of them. So yeah, I'm going to call it. No stream tomorrow because my Japanese lessons restart, and they have the class at 9 p.m, meaning in the middle of stream. So no time before, no time after, really. Maybe 2 hours, but yeah, probably not. And then it's Friday. And that means Path Exile. So I'll be online for the release, I guess. Probably a bit before, just because I need to figure out what we're doing. Probably something that I have. This is something I would have to think about. But they're cool things to do for a bit. I don't think that this will be the strongest patch for any game, but it would be fun for a week or so. But yeah, let's call it here. Thanks a lot for watching if you were. I hope you had fun having someone talking in your ears about Path Exile.